Imagine being accused of witchcraft. Terrifying, isn't it? This, however, was the grim reality for many in the late 17th century Salem village. As we journey back to the year 1692, we find ourselves in Salem Village, now present-day Danvers, Massachusetts. This was a time when the belief in the supernatural, including witches, was not only widespread but deeply entrenched in society. This belief was so profound that it set the stage for an unprecedented hysteria that was to sweep across the community. In the face of this hysteria, the Salem Witch Trials were born. But it's important to remember that these trials were not just a simple witch hunt. They were a complex mix of societal pressures, religious extremism, fear of the unknown, and power struggles. They were a reflection of a community wrestling with change and grappling with fear. The Salem Witch Trials were not just about witchcraft, but a complex mix of societal pressures, fear, and power struggles. It all began in January 1692 with a game of fortune-telling. Sounds harmless, right? But in the Puritan village of Salem, Massachusetts, this seemingly innocent pastime sparked a wave of hysteria that would change the course of history. The first to exhibit strange symptoms were young girls, convulsions, outbursts, and even what appeared to be demonic possessions. The village was gripped with fear, and the finger of blame was swiftly pointed. The first 3 women to be accused were Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba, a slave from Barbados. Their social status, their outsider status, made them easy targets. Accusations swiftly turned into arrests. These women were dragged before the authorities, accused of witchcraft, of consorting with the devil himself. The spark had been lit, the fuse was burning, and the explosion was inevitable. The trials had begun, and the village was consumed by a wave of fear and suspicion. The Salem Witch Trials were underway and no one was safe. As the months passed, the trials escalated, and no one was safe from accusations. The height of the Salem Witch Trials saw a surge in accusations and arrests. It was a time when neighbor turned against neighbor, friend against friend, and even family against family. In the heart of this hysteria, spectral evidence became a crucial player. This was testimony based on dreams and visions, where the accuser claimed to see the specter or spirit of the accused tormenting them or engaging in witchcraft. Despite its subjective and unverifiable nature, this spectral evidence was considered valid proof in court. Women, children, the elderly, and even pets were not spared. Accusers and the accused filled the courtrooms, their lives hanging in the balance, their fates decided on the flimsiest of evidence. The trials were no longer a pursuit of justice, but of fear and suspicion. The trials became a frenzy of fear, with everyone a potential witch. Finally, in October 1692, sanity was restored. The harsh trials came to an abrupt end, marking a significant turn of events. The governor of Massachusetts, William Phips, ordered the disallowing of spectral evidence, a primary basis for the accusations. This pivotal decision led to the release of those who were unjustly accused and imprisoned. Over the following years, the remaining accused were either pardoned or had their charges dismissed. In the aftermath of the trials, the village grappled with the fallout. The community was shattered, families were torn apart, and the damage was too deep to mend quickly. However, efforts were made towards reconciliation and healing. In 1697, the General Court declared a day of fasting and soul-searching for the tragedy of Salem. An official apology was issued, and the names of the accused were cleared. The Salem Witch Trials left a dark mark on history, a chilling reminder of the power of fear and suspicion. The Salem Witch Trials were a tragic episode of colonial America's history. These trials, fueled by fear and superstition, resulted in the execution of 20 innocent people accused of witchcraft. It all began with a spark, a seemingly innocent game that ignited suspicion and panic. The proceedings were a whirlwind of mass hysteria, with spectral evidence and forced confessions becoming the norm. At the height of the trials, no one was safe. Neighbor turned against neighbor, and fear ruled over reason. But as quickly as the hysteria rose, it faded. The trials ended, but the aftermath was profound. Lives were lost, reputations ruined, and the community forever scarred. It took years for Salem to recover, and even longer for the victims to be exonerated. The Salem Witch Trials serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of hysteria, false accusations, and a lack of due process, lessons that remain relevant even today.